Hail, Internet! It's Paul, it's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here talking about Upload, Season 1, Episodes 7 and 8. Bring Your Dad to Work Day, and Shopping Other Digital Afterlives. Which, you know, those...
Yes. 70% of this episode will be exactly figuring out why they titled it these titles.
That's right. I'll say this, that's like two of the longest titles they've had till now. Usually they're one word or two words, so yes. They got a verbose person to write these
That's right.
giant paragraph titles. All right.
Pay me per word? All right.
Yeah. We begin episode 7 with a meeting back in Upload's offices. Lucy, the manager, is meeting with Alicia and Nora. Alicia has lost a hard drive for a client. As you mentioned last time, how she seems not so great at her job. She seems to be careless, anyway. And then Nora is being reminded about the policy against fraternizing because she was found sleeping in the park, virtual park, overnight with Nathan. She's basically warned, hey, if you do it again, you're going to get on probation. When we end episode 8 is Nora and Nathan have had a little bit of a mini arc, and they're back together. They're having another virtual date at the lake on the dock, and that's where that goes. So there's your brackets on what we're talking about. Well, good sir, I enjoyed these 2 episodes. I thought these were 2 of the better ones of the season. What are your thoughts, good sir?
I mean, I enjoyed them too. I liked their, I like the way the show has the stories play out, So I'm enjoying it. I like it. I like the little aspects of all the little, this is what technology is like in the future. This is what this world is. There's like an event that happens in there that I don't feel is adequately explained, which is when Nora finds the guy outside her window taking the vegetables.
she's growing a vegetable garden on the side of her wall, and he's grabbing them. And so I got the idea that maybe she was growing them on the side of the wall to protect them. Like maybe that, like no one will steal them because they're on the side of a wall, and yet this guy is taking them. We also actually do see there's one shot of Nathan talking to his mom on the little hand phone thing they've got. Which is also cool technology. And
one thing I've noticed about that is it's like on the upper and lower right or left, it's round, and in the other one, it's square.
Oh, okay.
That's really interesting design choice there.
Yeah. Swoop. So they're talking, and we see there are homeless people kind of bumping into the mom while she's on the phone. I mean, suggesting that all is not awesome in this world, in the real world.
Well, apparently, minimum wage is still a problem.
Right. There's that. Like, I'll support minimum wage. Ingrid. Speaking of that, is back to being terrible. So there's that. I mean, we were talking last time. I was like, oh look, they tried to turn her into this likable character for 1 episode, but now she's back. We see her in this.
I think they're trying to explain something, or at least show something anyway, because she's not completely irredeemable because she's willing to be committed to this relationship, and she's concerned about the fact that they're not getting along so well.
But is she? I mean,
because
you're probably
she's willing to marry him.
But in that support group.
And she actually, even though she cheated on him, she didn't really cheat on him. I mean, she did, but then she stopped. So she didn't begin a relationship. It's not even like she's looking. It's like someone comes over there, she's a little indiscreet, and maybe because their relationship is not doing so well, but she still is doing the things that commits to him. She's paying to have him live.
It's true. No, I get it. What she says in that support group.
You get it.
What she says in that support group is pretty terrible. I mean, she's like,
it's not good.
First, I cheated on him with his best friend, who, by the way, that's a little a clue thing. He came over looking for Nathan's hard drive. Okay, again, Jamie at odds with Nathan in that way. So there's that, and then there's like, I'm thinking about just deactivating him. Only 6 days a week, so that I can go have my own life. Like, okay. And then she's like, I don't know if I'm thinking about deleting him or marrying him. That's a pretty big swing there.
Yeah, it is.
So anyway, she's acting terrible, but it sounds like you've seen the whole thing, and from what I'm reading your clues to me over the course of these recaps, and so I get the feeling, because you keep bringing up the commitment angle, that she inevitably does something to show her commitment to Nathan, and so that she's not just, and because it's in this moment, basically on the end of this episode. At the end of episode 8.
Is that from me?
I would go with the thought of he's about to break up with her because he wants to be with Nora, and he keeps saying, I got to have a talk with Ingrid first. The way the story's going is he breaks up with her, and she's like, fine, I won't delete you because that'll get rid of the main character of the show, but I will take all your money away. That's kind of where I see that going, but apparently that's not the way this is going based on your hints to me. Outside of the show, I'm reading that's not the way this is going. So, okay. Anyway, so we'll just have to see next week when we see the finale.
What's going on?
We're already up to episode 8.
That's right.
So
2 more.
Nora and Nathan are playing chess together, and
She's cheating.
She's cheating?
Yes.
I thought he was cheating. Oh, okay.
He's using a dummy, so yes, he's cheating with a dummy.
Okay.
She's using an actual computer program that can play chess.
I missed that part. I thought she just beat him.
No,
and
I had to watch it. I had to watch it again.
Okay.
She has in her screen a chess assist, which you could assume is her program for interacting with him, but it telegraphs a move before she makes a move.
See, that's I missed that.
Telling her, put it here.
I thought
I watched it again to
assist.
see that.
Okay, good call. So they were both cheating, which is interesting. Yes. I guess this is the right time to bring this up. So there's one of the things we mentioned, the fact that they're on this virtual date. We see at the very end of episode 8, and we also see this virtual date at the dock earlier as well. So they had 2 of them, and in both of those dates, she tricks him into trying to think he can walk on water, and he falls in.
Yes.
And it's played for laughs, and it's like ha 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 ha, and then he pulls her in. She's like, "Well, I'm not even wet because that's not even me here." And while yes, there's a playfulness to it, that is, to me, if I'm in that relationship, I kind of take that as a warning sign. Personally, I'd be like, that's a trust thing, right? You got to trust your partner. Your partner's like, oh yeah, no, this thing totally won't backfire on you, and then it backfires on you, and then you trust them again. I know.
It seems like a pretty.
I'm just saying.
It's certainly better than Lucy and Charlie Brown, but
right, yes, but it just feels a little. It's a slight bit to me. A slight bit mean-spirited. It's a little bit of like, you trusted me, you fool. That's kind of where I get out of that a little bit. I wouldn't like it. I'll put it that way. I would put that as a check. I'd put that as a minus in the Nora column. Like, okay, all right. Note to self: don't trust this person. Is kind of what I get. Anyway, but okay. That's me. But they play with it and they have fun, and he obviously doesn't care, and he's fine with it.
He doesn't. No, he's fine.
There's also that thing of like bringing him down a peg. You're not Jesus. And then she actually is walking on water at the end of episode 8.
Yes, she is.
Kind of show her upward status at that point. But in any case, while they're playing chess and both cheating, Nathan mentions that he probably should have a talk with Ingrid before he and Nora go any further. They've kind of reached this point. They're flirting while playing chess a little bit. Well, maybe you should come to my place. And he's like, okay, you know what? I should probably talk to Ingrid. She can delete me after all, he says.
Yes.
It's very true. And then that's when we see her at the support group, and she talks about maybe I should delete him. So that's coming up. But the big portion of this episode is Nora then says, hey, by the way, my dad is going to be coming in to take a look at Lakeview as a possibility for him in the afterlife. So I want you, boyfriend person, to show my dad around Lakeview. When it's more of a time for like get my dad to get to know you. It's meeting the parents.
Yep.
Right? So that becomes the main through line of this episode.
Yes.
Nora's dad comes into Lakeview. He's overwhelmed at first by just all the bizarre. There's a dog psychotherapist, and there's people trying to sell him stuff, and he's like, ah. But Nathan has a good rapport with him.
Yes.
One of the moments that's interesting, it comes into play later as well, is they go to the Memory Parlor. And so the Memory Parlor is where you can bring up any memory you want, and they'll just save it to a video for you. They'll make it into a video.
And so you can watch it.
Right. And it could be a memory, even if one that you don't really have that much of an actual memory of. It'll retrieve memories for you in a way.
Yes.
So
and
that was
it doesn't stop before you come to it's up to the present.
Right. It's actually while you've been uploaded, because he later chooses to have an upload memory as opposed to a real life memory, which is like nobody does that. But this is brave / stupid of him to let the father of the woman he's interested in go, just choose a memory, whatever memory you want. And the father's like, how about a memory of your dad playing sports with you? But he could have been anything there. But anyway, he picks his memory.
He's not a murderer.
That time you murdered someone. I don't know. It could be like your lowest moment. I don't know. How generic can it be that they bring up the video? In this case, it was like, show me the last time you played sports with your dad. But I don't know. It could be, what was that? What about that time you broke the law? Is that like the last time you broke the law? And it just like shows him, whatever. I don't know, stealing a TV or something.
Show, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we get a little look at Nathan's childhood here, because it's a very early memory. He's a young kid playing ball with his dad, and he's like, "Oh no, I want a more recent memory." It's like, this is the most recent memory there is. Nathan's obviously uncomfortable. Father, yes. He's like, "I don't really want to see this," but we learn that the father's not dead. It's just they separated. Whatever. The dad's not in the picture.
Right.
And so we don't know all the background of that yet, right? I mean,
we don't.
Okay, yeah.
We don't know.
So
potentially that could be something.
That's just a little glimpse into Nathan's background there. Nathan's very honest, forthright, I think, with the dad, which makes a good impression on him. At some point,
I think it's a good demonstration of the differences of the shows we were talking about, the Good Place and this show.
Okay.
Wherein, it was an afterworld of spirits, souls that are existing. And they talk about that in terms of what do you believe and all this. And for him, it's interesting. I don't think I appreciated until watching it this time that what he imagines is that Nora, after he dies, Nora will die, and her spirit will go up to heaven to be with all of them, even though a simulation is going to exist of Nora in this park. So that's what he imagines. But it's a difference to me in terms of the shows. If you ever, when you watch them, you'll see that it's a sort of different view of. Yeah,
because his version, the way he puts it, is he sees it as, at least in the beginning, before he gets to know Nathan, that Nathan doesn't have a soul. Right. The virtual Nathan doesn't have a soul. And so, that actually, as you talk here, it makes me think, okay, well, could he be in both places? In other words, in his mind, could he be in heaven?
Yes.
And also be in, because I'm not a big believer in heaven anyway, but let's just say if there was a heaven, could you just say, hey, Dad, sure, you can go to heaven and be with your wife, but you can also go to upload and you can be with me, and while I'm still alive.
And clearly he doesn't think that. Yeah. So really, I mean, you would think that if he was concerned about Nora, that maybe he's actually thinking that because he's not going to do it, that Nora won't do it.
I feel like he thinks he gets either one or the other. Like his soul will either be an upload or his soul will be up in heaven.
I think you're right about that. And then, so it really should be, though, because that's the way it sounded to me when he was talking, actually, which is, he says to Nathan, your soul is up in heaven, but your brain is being simulated.
Yep.
So he could really humor her then.
Yep, exactly.
He could be uploaded and still go up there if you follow the example of what he was telling him. So either
what difference does it make? To him, I mean, he's
slipped up, or He just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, it's a loophole. You're like, wait, why does it matter to him? But anyway, he feels like somehow if he gets uploaded, he doesn't go to heaven. I guess somehow that's a thing. So they talk for a bit. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Nora finds out, she sees a news story that Josh, the investor that was going to buy up the app that Jamie and Nathan were working on, he's been killed off in this bizarre accident where their heads blew up because they were doing the whole virtual upload thing. Anyway.
Yeah, no. That's one thing that unfortunately I don't think has been spelled out very well. If it's the natural process of it that your head blows up when you get scanned, then you shouldn't be testing it. You shouldn't be testing it. You shouldn't be like, let's see if this thing works.
That's right.
Okay, if you really want to.
Yeah, in fact, oh great, it worked perfectly. You're dead. Yeah, maybe, yeah. But so, yeah, he's dead. She correctly interprets that as a murder, tells Nathan about it. Meanwhile, there's a subplot of Luke is having sex with, I think it's Ingrid's grandmother. Is that right?
Yes.
The black and white photograph woman.
Mildred.
Mildred, very good, very good.
Yes.
So
very old-timey name.
So we've got a situation where Nora's trying to use her boss's computer while her boss is out. Lucy steps out of the office and Nora sneaks in and she's doing a little background research. And then somebody, meanwhile, is planting a bomb in the company's servers.
In the server room, yeah.
Now, is it possible that it's Lucy? Maybe, I don't know. She steps out, there's a bomb planted, and then she comes back.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. It's probably...
I mean, one of the things she mentions to Larry Wilmore...
Oh, right. That was cool.
is because he suspects that something is going on. So it's possible she could be trying to assuage him because she doesn't even seem to care about what's going on. She doesn't even have anybody explain it to her. Or at least she's fine with what meager explanation she gets. But one thing they mentioned is, I guess, the Luds, which I assume Luddite.
Yeah, the Ludlife is the email address that sends her the blackmail. So, yeah, Luddites, I assume. Because she gets a blackmail from Ludlife, which says, hey,
that says
someone's selling upload memories, and we'll blackmail you unless you give us a bunch of cash. And so that's why I thought maybe there was something about that, something about she, being Lucy, is trying to cover up something by getting rid of the server information. But it doesn't seem, blowing up stuff doesn't really seem to fit the Lucy we've come to know anyway.
No, I would agree.
But stuff does blow up, and so temporarily.
Yeah, while she's going through the files, she sees that someone else has access to Nathan's file. It's her, Lucy, Nora, and someone that she doesn't recognize.
Person X, yeah.
Yes, Person X.
And she tries to look them up, and whoop. Nothing. So somebody either an awesome hacker, a la Mr. Robot, or somebody very rich. One of the two,
I would think a rather clumsy hacker, if they could do that and have their, here's a record of who did
sure.
It.
Okay. But at least it doesn't have their name, like Jerry Jenkins at 327.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
We get that, some more of the mystery is coming about. And then, so while the explosion hurts the folks in Lakeview, it turns all of the inhabitants into like 8-bit characters. They're like, burp, burp. They're big, these, blocky, absurd things. So Nathan is trying to carry on a serious conversation with Nora's dad. Yes. Nora's dad is still fine because he's not technically an inhabitant. And Nathan is just giant, blocky Lego guy, basically.
Yes.
And so it's the absurdity of that situation is kind of fun. Eventually, stuff does get fixed again, and we're back now. What are the ramifications? What was lost in that? Do we know?
I don't know. I don't necessarily think anything was lost.
Was it just so? What was the purpose of blowing up the servers, if not to
Yeah, that's a good question.
Maybe like when they restarted, they had to restart with a virus. All right.
Maybe they were distracting when something else was happening. Who knows?
We get to the kind of basically the end of that episode where Nora's dad is back in the real world talking to Nora. She's really excited to be like, okay, how'd it go? How'd it go? He's, in the beginning of the conversation, it sounds good. He's like, oh yeah, Nathan's a great guy. Wish you'd have met him when he was alive, but he's a really good guy. I think he's, good on you. So she's like, oh great. So does that mean? And he's like, yeah, actually, Nathan was the reason why I would have chosen to be in Lakeview, but I don't want to be in Lakeview. And so it ends with a little touching moment where Nora says, okay, well, when you get to heaven, could you say hi to Mom for me?
Yeah.
So she has, I think in this moment...
It appears like she's given up.
Yeah, given up the idea that, okay. Which then makes me think, is that... It seemed like that was one of the main reasons why she was even working where she's working. Because she kind of doesn't really like the job. Now she likes it because of Nathan. So maybe that's what's keeping her on. But it seemed like the main reason she was working there was, I'll give this a discount.
Right. Yes,
so,
right.
So maybe... So it seemed like the only real tie keeping her there at this minimum wage job, I don't know, it's not minimum wage, but whatever, is this tie to Nathan now, who she has deep feelings for. So we come into episode 8. We're back at the Memory Parlor. And so this is where first Nathan tries to access an actual real life memory of him talking to Jamie. They're having an argument, but it's garbled because his memories are corrupted.
Right.
So they're arguing about something. It seems like who has ownership of the software or whatever. And so then he's asked, the tech person says, just choose another memory, and he chooses this date he had with Nora, which apparently is very rare. But it's also a little stupid of him in this moment because he gives away the fact that they're having a relationship. Yes. And so it's like, wait, you know your angel's name? He's like, oh, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's finish. Anyway, so gig's up. Hence, Nora gets put on probation because he was dumb.
I guess he ratted him out.
Yeah. She seems like this particular tech is seems like a very Law and Order or like by the book person. It's by the book person. And so, she knows, okay, fine. She says that, I believe you. Like, oh. Anyway, so, Nathan was dumb in that moment. If he was really trying to hide this thing, he doesn't publicly access a memory of he and Nora having a date, essentially. But he does. And so she gets put on probation. So her boss imitates her, which shows another possible way to exploit stuff for the...
Yes.
Inhabitants of Lakeview is, oh look, I'm seeing Nora, but it's not Nora, and so Lucy is in Nora's avatar and essentially breaks up with Nathan, and it breaks his heart, and so he wants to leave Lakeview.
Yes,
and so they take out his hard drive. And his mom starts shopping him to other places, which is hence the title of this thing about other digital lives. And that's the backbone of this episode is, let's go check out the competition, which is it's funny. It's a terrible. You see these
terrible options, which feels appropriate.
He's a head in a jar, which I'm like, is that the way he would be? Or is that like just the testing phase? It was very unclear,
I think testing, yes, that's true.
Yeah. But that was a good, it's the fly by night, it's the Lionel Hutz of digital afterlives.
What? No money down.
You should get the special case, because if you spill something on that, he's ruined. Puts his soda down right next to it. She's like, all right. So the mom, we see, cares about her son, but she also is being cost-conscious. She's like, well, this could work. Because when she hears the value, she's like, okay, I can afford that. So it's obvious these choices, it's like choosing a coffin. For your loved one, it's like, what price is too much? And so she's like, why don't you live here? And I forgot what it's called. It's like Disney something. Anyway, that gets shot down. Meanwhile, Nora travels to L.A. from New York to ask. She finds out that Nathan wanted to leave. So she assumes that Ingrid pulled Nathan out of Lakeview. She
right.
didn't.
Yes.
But so she goes to visit Ingrid. So we have Nora meets up with Ingrid. I like on the plane. I mean,
also too, she wanted to kind of find a way to warn him because now she's really starting to get suspicious. So
yeah.
Wants to.
Right. Yeah. This could be a prelude to him being deleted in some way or killed off.
Yes. Right.
So the plane ride it's humorous. I mean, we've seen the bit about the seats are too small before or whatever. But I did like there was one of the little lines that the flight attendant says is something like, welcome to, I forgot what the airline is, but welcome to Delta Air. Thanks for trusting us again. Which I liked. Like, okay. But yeah, she gets the bargain basement airline trip. She's like, it's just a half an hour, which is interesting too, right? A half-hour flight from New York to L.A. So
New York to
air travels faster, at least. Ingrid is, Ingrid. And very self-centered, but it's like, someone took Nathan. I know who did this. Let's figure this out. She calls Nathan's mom. She's correct. Nathan's mom has Nathan. She shows up at this Lionel Hutz place and demands Nathan back. So she takes what she thinks is the case, and somebody steals it and throws it in a public fountain. She then has the funny thing of trying to go in the fountain after it. I thought that was pretty fun too. She's like, "Oh!"
Well, I mean, one thing I think really explained explicitly is that they have a conversation wherein he agrees to go back.
Right.
Because he sees that Nora is there, so it makes him feel like, okay, I'll go back because Nora's there.
He sees her, and
so even though it seems like he might be saying, we'll try again with Ingrid. He's really saying he's going back to be with Nora.
Right. Because the way they frame it is Nora's standing kind of right behind Ingrid.
Yes.
So when he's talking, it looks like he's looking past Ingrid at Nora.
Yeah.
And so he's saying like, "Oh yes, I'll go back because the person I love will be there." Or something. Not that exactly, but that's what he's basically saying.
Right. His subtext.
And you're right. That's incredibly important because also Nora being there, makes him realize, okay, well maybe that terrible talk I had with actually Lucy was a hiccup somehow, or he kind of realizes if Nora's here, that means she cares, and so I'm not sure how that equates with our last conversation, but okay, she's looking sympathetic here, so okay, good.
Yes.
And so yes, that is very important. As it turns out, Nora gave the wrong hard drive to Ingrid, so that's the wrong hard drive, or a broken hard drive gets destroyed. She saves Nathan's life in that moment. Saves
Nathan's life,
Nathan's, Nathan's digital life, but his life. Right. So he gets put back into Lakeview.
Her efforts caused Lucy to reinstate.
Right. Ingrid
Nora
gives a glowing review. Yes. And so it's Ingrid gets Nora her job back, and Nora saves Nathan's life. So there's a kind of a nice sequence there. And then quickly Nathan and Nora realize what happened. So they don't draw that out, which I'm glad. They're like, it was Lucy. She was okay. Got it. So we're fine. Good. Right. Here, let me trick you into thinking you can walk on water again.
Everyone's evil.
And then it ruined the whole thing, and we see how evil they are. Okay, no. But that's just me.
You expected it to be Ingrid there. Ooh.
That's right. We have again, just like in the last episode, Nathan says, okay, I do need to talk to Ingrid again before we go any further again. I'm back to that talking to Ingrid thing. So we're left with that. And we've only got 2 episodes left, so that's going to happen probably sooner than later. The cigarette smoking man has another appearance where he's like, I get endangered rhino served to me at every lunch. And they had to kill the last one to make the sample for this. Yeah. Mr. Burns. You have Lionel Hutz and Mr. Burns. He is definitely Mr. Burns in the afterlife, is what he said.
Yes, he is. He is. He doesn't have a Smithers, but
yeah, not yet.
Mr. Burns.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's kind of the sequence of events. We see, so Nathan and Nora are, definitely, a legit item at this point, and Ingrid is still kind of in the way. I mean, Nathan has decided, I don't care for Ingrid, but how do I get out of this without being deleted? That's a tough talk to have. I'll just say that. Because he is very dependent on her right now, and as we know, she's already considering marry him, delete him. I don't know. So when he says, "I don't care for you anymore," might make the choice a little clearer. End of the series. No. There was the little subplot of Alicia, because she couldn't find the hard drive for this person. Oh, yes. She had to pretend to be him.
Yes.
With his wife. So she's dancing, and he's suddenly a very good dancer. And anyway, so there's, again, it's that pretending to be these avatars. It's the wrong personality inside a body. They're just showing that that's a thing. So it is another one of those trust things. Like, you can never quite trust. I think I would come up with a thing of like, let's have like some kind of code word or something, or like, I want to make sure that you're you.
Right, but that's one of those things that the super users know.
Yeah.
Presumably, and most users probably don't know. So yeah, that's the thing to keep in mind. It makes me wonder though, like, is this another the wife that she's dancing with?
Sure.
Is she in her own little suit someplace else in the real world, or is she another person who lives there?
Apparently,
which considering I guess the amount of time that he's been gone, it wouldn't make sense that his wife would be like, where is he? Maybe she just hadn't visited in a while, and so she's going to come.
Well, there's also that
going to come.
There's the line that Lucy says
out someplace else.
Lucy says something like, "You'll pretend to be this guy until she dies." It made it sound like maybe she's on the verge of death, or maybe that's like for the next 15 years. No, you got to wear the suit if you want to have like an intimate experience. We know that in the virtual world, and we saw that Nora's dad put on a suit in order to like fully engage in the world. But it seems like people, like, for instance, Nora is having a talk with, she's on the dock with it, and she's not in a suit. She just has the glasses on.
Right, no. And she has a glove sometimes, so she can touch him or whatever, but she... Yeah.
So I'm thinking you don't have to have the suit.
No, you don't.
So I think the wife, in this case, just has glasses or something.
She might just have glasses.
Because they're just dancing and whatever. They're at a party, seems like, some kind. This is a cool series. I think surprisingly so. I wasn't sure when I saw the ad. I thought it might be a little simplistic, played for laughs kind of thing. But no, it's got some cool relationships in it. The plot doesn't feel bloated. It doesn't feel like it's just treading its wheels. Which sometimes a show will, like, it'll have some really good episodes, and then you'll be like these. Okay, you just passed some time, and now you're back. This feels like it moves along nicely, and it has been picked up for season 2. So they've got a world that they've created, and you could certainly see more stories to be played in it. I'm assuming they're not all going to get wrapped up in 2 episodes. So cool stuff. Any other thoughts, good sir?
Yeah, one of the things that the last time I watched it, I noticed that when Nathan was walking around with Luke, and so the ads that were showing up. So yes, the ads that were showing up, and so it's really aware of what you're thinking and feeling, actually, and that's why it's tailoring the ads to you. And one thing that
Nora, Ingrid,
offers
Lucy
him is like, we can adjust the settings so that you don't have to see as many things.
Because he sees a lot of them, especially in that moment. He's seen a lot of pop-up ads based on his relationship with Nora.
Yes, his feelings of love.
And Luke thinks that's his relationship with Ingrid. I was like, oh, I see. You must be having a good. And he's like, no, we're doing terrible.
And because Luke is ignoring him, then it shows that he had this.
Like, you want to be alone or something like that? Oh, okay. Take a hit. I should point out too. I'm appreciating this guy who is playing the AI. He keeps showing up.
Okay.
He's wacky.
Yes.
But I know he's in small enough doses that I'm cool with it. Like I almost feel like there are times his smile, the way he like I get the sense that it's almost like he's tortured and is like just has to put on a smile. Like it's a weird. I don't know what his motivation is.
He definitely has a nice performance that adds layers to things that you wouldn't think, or you would think are straightforward.
Yeah, he's not simply like, I am plastic robot automaton. He's a guy that, it's almost like a person that's being forced to do stuff against his will or something. I don't know. Like, it's interesting.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah.
He's the eternal lackey.
It's a good performance. It'd be interesting if they decide in some way, like he gets an upgrade, like
right.
That causes him to have more sentience, or like, oh, now the AI is better now. That'd be interesting.
Or maybe it's like the AI was based on a resident, and this is that guy. Or I don't know, something like that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Anyway, it's cool stuff. We'll be back talking about the finale next week, and we'll throw out some theories, I guess, for season 2 at that point as well. So come on back for that. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it, sir. As always.
Welcome, man.
Bye.